Hey word nerds, Victoria here. This is 5 annoying ways people have responded to my claim that I want to be an author. Number 1. So this week I had to work on a project with this girl from school who I'd never really met. I mean, we'd spoken a few times, but we were just assigned to work together. And so we went for coffee and we started chatting about our presentation. And then she asked me, so what are you doing after this? And normally I don't talk about the fact that I like to write, but it just kind of caught me off guard because I was putting my jacket on, getting ready to leave. So it just came out that, oh, I'm actually going to work on my novel. And her response to me, she looks at me and she goes, why is everybody writing a novel these days? And I'm like, bitch, what's with the dude? I mean, first of all, I don't know that everybody is in fact writing a novel today, perhaps more than previously, but I would attribute that to the fact that far more people are educated, and with the rise of commercial fiction, far more people are reading, so perhaps that is in fact why far more people are writing books. Either way, bitch, drop the toot, okay? Why is that a bad thing? So there I was thinking, this is probably the last time I will ever tell an almost stranger that I am writing a novel. Number 2. Now this response is probably the most tragic because it is in fact the one that I got from my dad when I was 17. So you can picture me there, a starry-eyed young girl dreaming of becoming an author and entering that world she had loved so dearly as a young child. And what does he say to me? Don't quit your day job. Don't quit your day job. Thanks, Dad. Real supportive. Now I really feel like I'm going to become a published author and conquer that unclimbable mountain. Thank you. Now I'm really confident in myself. People, if somebody ever tells you that they want to do something somewhat artistic with their lives, don't give them that answer. Like, we are not delusional. We know that it's almost impossible. What we're expressing when we say that that's a dream is that we do in fact know it's a dream, and that's why we're telling you with such hopeless looks in our eyes, okay? The glistening of tears doesn't happen for no reason. It's not because we're in love with our books, although we probably are. It's because we're so desperate to have it reach the public, and we know that it's practically impossible, so don't ever respond that way. Number 3. This one applies to people who are not your close friends. These are maybe acquaintances, people you might have the conversation with that you are an aspiring novelist, and they say to you, oh, can I read it? Now, this is not the worst question in the world. In fact, if it's from a family member, that's a great thing, or a friend, that's a great comment to make. Like, it shows investment, that's good. But I'm talking about the people that you're not close with, and when you tell them that it's not finished, they don't seem to get it. It's like the idea of editing doesn't exist in their mind. It's like, I'm creating this piece of art, and therefore it must instantaneously be done the minute I speak that it exists. No, right now it exists mostly in here, maybe half of it on paper, maybe a full draft on paper, but it's not ready to be read by somebody that I don't love and trust. So back the fuck off. Number 4. This person is probably my least favorite. This is when you say, hi, I'm writing a novel, and then they say to you, oh, me too. Launches into description of said novel. Now, I'm not talking about the mutual conversation where you both are like, oh yay, we're geeky together and we're both pursuing the same difficult path. No, I'm talking about the person that just takes over the entire conversation and doesn't give a shit about your novel that you happen to say because they asked you what you are currently investing most of your free time in. No, they just dominate the conversation, go on and on about how they're the next Chaucer or the next Shakespeare or the next Jane Austen or the next Orwell, and they're going to just dramatically change the face of the literary world with this brilliant novel they're imagining that is miles better than yours could ever possibly be because they don't write that crappy genre fiction, they write real novels. Then you reach the point in the conversation when this person finally runs out of breath and they finally have to stop for a second so you can get a word in edgewise, and then you ask them, oh, that's wonderful. Maybe I could read something. Maybe we could be critique partners. Maybe I could send you a chapter and you could send me a chapter. Maybe you could be a beta reader and I could be a beta reader. And we try to have this, artistic bond. And then their response is, oh, well, I'm too busy to write at the moment, so I haven't actually, started it yet. I'm like, bitch, you want to be the next fucking Orwell and you haven't even sat down to write? Oh yeah, you're a writer and you're better than me, but you can't even find the fucking time to do it. God, it pisses me off so much. And I get that life is hard, and sometimes it's really busy, and it's hard to actually sit down and do the creative things you love, because when it's not your full-time career and you haven't achieved that dream, you do have other things distracting you. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the person that puts you down for whatever you happen to be working on and makes it seem like they're way better and way more advanced, and they're gonna, single-handedly change the planet with their novel or whatever they're working on. And then, when you push them, it turns out they don't have anything. They don't have anything. Okay, well, they have something. They have an idea, and they clearly have an overinflated sense of their own importance. But beyond that, they're severely lacking in anything creative, and yet they have the nerve to make you sound like a complete idiot for wanting to write teen fantasy. Fuck you. Number 5. This one is quite related to number 4, but instead of the person just saying, like, oh, I'm writing a novel too, they're just snarky about your genre. So the first question is, oh, what kind of book are you writing? And in my case, I say, oh, I'm writing teen fantasy. And then they say, oh, what's it about exactly? And then I say something like, teenage monster hunters, it's urban fantasy. And they're like, oh, so it's just like shadow hunters. Like, well, no, not exactly. There's, more magic to it rather than like angelic power. And then they say, oh, so it's like Harry Potter. I'm like, well, not exactly. There are multiple races that play into it. They're all, vaguely humanesque in form, and there's no magic wands. And then they say, oh, so it's like Lord of the Rings. I'm sitting here being like, bitch, I'm doing my best to be original here, but you're not making it very easy. Maybe my book isn't the most original. I don't fucking know. I'm doing my best to write the idea that's in my head. And then they sit there making me feel like shit for having that kind of dream because insert whatever similarity has existed previously. And then when you finally get past that conversation, then it's back to the, oh, I only read real fiction. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean real fiction? And then, that escalates into the whole classics conversation all over again about how, YA is just a waste of time because it's crappy writing and it's bad cliches and it's just making kids dumber. And I'm sitting here being like, maybe some of that's true to some extent, and I will make fun of YA as much as the rest of the world because I in fact love it. Because do you know what YA has done? YA has given thousands of children who would never ever have picked up a book otherwise a significant love of reading. Now that is a win in my book. So you can get off your damn high horse and start going on your roller skates. So fuck you! So that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Sorry for the anger. Hopefully you found it amusing and don't think I'm a psychopath. Till next time, bye word nerds.